Hello, I'm back again with another really, well, it's gonna be a longish video, not as long as I'd like it to be though. So I was watching Lindsay Puckett's channel. She's an author tuber, um, and possibly booktuber as well. I believe author tuber though, and I was kind of inspired because she was talking about how how YouTube has developed more into a long form method of being able to, I want to say storytelling, but that's but explaining things, and it can be storytelling as well, but it's more of a long form, whereas TikTok is just very short, quick spurts. Um, and because I've been struggling with this, because I was thinking about how a lot of people say you need to go to TikTok, and I'm like, well, but I'm not really a TikTok person. I mean, I don't watch them. I'm more interested in more long form videos. So I guess, but for me, I'm going to be trying to do more the more longer videos. Words are hard. But I do like to do chatty videos, just sort of talking about what I'm working on, because I developed that from when I was doing comics all the time, and I'd go onto forums, and we'd update our progress as a way of being accountable. I guess I can kind of do the same thing here, except for is one thing when I was working on comics and self-publishing comics, because they were my own work. But now that I'm publishing other people's work, and it and when I say other people's work right now, it's just my dad's work, but I'm hoping that eventually there'll be like more family stuff, which sounds weird, I know. We'll see on that matter. But for now, it'll just be mostly myself and my dad's work that I'm publishing, which is sort of self-publishing. I've had to like, because I'm doing so much work on his manuscripts. I've added myself as a co-author, just to for a lot of reasons. Mostly stupid copyright law. Stupid Canadian copyright law, I'll have that. Um, so there's that. Yeah, but right now, I last week I managed to finish up my production plan. So I hate announcing things, because if they don't work, I will be upset. Um, but well, here's the thing. I've My stretch goal is I'm gonna start at the pie in the sky. Pie in the sky is, I would love to be able to publish a book 1 month. That's not gonna happen. I can't do that right now. Right now I can't. Maybe I can speed it up later, but I cannot do that now. This year my pie in the sky is 4 books. And when people are like, 4 books, but you just have to realize these books are already written, to varying degrees. Some of them need more editing than others, and so the ones that need more editing, I'm having to basically, they're structural issues, so I have to like go through that and expand on those. There are ones that are really basically just need a couple tweaks here and there. But saying that, I want to get the ones off my plate that I'd read on my channel. I'm trying to get through those now to make sure that they're all getting sent out they're getting all sent out into the world, so I can go on to more books. In the meantime, I'm also wanting to work on my own writing and also comics. I want to try and I want to at least I have a bunch of different manuscripts in various completion stages, and I'm probably going to be touching on all of them throughout the year. So I don't really have an end date with that, because they're kind of on the back burner right now while I'm trying to actually like publish books. But the nice thing about this plan that I have is there's check-in stages. So I have the first stage, I have a check-in point on January 20th, where I check to see where I'm at in the first stage of completion of the first book. And I should be at that stage. If I'm not at that stage, I need to reevaluate where I'm at, why I'm not there yet. And usually there's valid reasons, because I was working on this other book last year, which I had to take a break from, but I'm going to be kind of touching on it throughout the year because it has some major structural issues that I wanted to fix with it before I put it out into the world. Mostly, like, when I say structural, I mean there's some characters that I want to bring out more. My dad touches on these awesome concepts, but he doesn't bring them out fully. So I wanted to highlight those and make them more present in the book. But that's just going to take a lot of time because I've had to redo entire storylines, and I have the storylines done, but by the time I was done looking over the storylines, I was just like, okay, I'm good. So now it's a matter of taking time throughout the year to slowly work on it so that I can get it to the stage of completion for the end of the year. Not necessarily end of year, but like that book I want to try and publish in October. But I also have 3 months at the end of the year that are just sort of going to be working on websites and whatnot. So that'll work nicely. Well, that's my production plan for the year. Like I said, there's gonna be comics. Comics is gonna be the focus at the end of the year, but I'm finding that I might actually be able to work on them throughout the year, because I'm practicing doing morning pages. My morning pages are different from like other authors' morning pages because I'm working on artwork. I need to also get in the habit of doing writing morning pages as well, just to kind of loosen up. There was this great idea where you free write projects you're working on in order to like make sure that you're staying fresh. They're staying fresh in your mind. And I haven't done that this week yet because I'm launching so many different new things and trying to do so many different new ideas that I kind of need to implement them slowly so I can get them all seated and habit instilled. Although that takes 21 days. So, by the end of the year, I ought to have all my habits in place. But I was gifted a rocket pad for Christmas, and I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. For those of you who don't know what a rocket pad is, it's basically a pad. It's got a bunch of different pages on it. It's got planning pages. It's got a weekly spread. So it's like a planner, but it's also got dot grid. Now the cool thing about the dot grid is that you can write, I guess you can write on it. I never do. You can write it or draw on it. And when you, basically the whole point of it is that there's like an application that you use and you scan in your pages so you can like upload them to wherever. Like you basically program each button to take you to a certain place and it will do that. I haven't done the automatic send because I'm just too chicken to do that. My only beef with the product is that it's putting everything in PDF and I'd rather have it in JPEG. That's a minor thing though. Anyway, I'm using the long and short of that is I'm using Rocket Pad in order to do my daily sketching pages. And there's some limitations with it because you can't do all the artwork, but when you're pre-coffee or pre-tea brain, because I'm drinking coffee right now, but not all the time. That's a whole other story. But needless to say, where was I? Right. pre morning beverage brain, I can go on there and just start drawing. And because it's temporary, because that's the other thing, you draw, right, you mark up the pages, and then you take a damp cloth, which comes with like a microfiber cloth, and you wipe it off and start again. So there's no permanent, it's like a whiteboard almost. And it's really great for capturing ideas for sure, but also for when you're just wanting to draw something, but you don't want, if you know it's not permanent, then there's not that attachment to it, so you're able to kind of be a little more free with your art. It's like doing a free writing, only with drawing. And so I've been doing that every day. Today I have not, and that's because I chose not to, because I'm trying to not work on the weekends, I guess. But I don't think that's going to happen for long, because I really want to try and get these pages done for this book, so that I'm in the tedious part where I'm reading through and I'm putting down point form of what happened in each chapter. That's because I wasn't given an outline, so if I don't have an outline, I can't go through it. I mean, the closest I have to an outline is a synopsis for the stories, so I have to do things differently than what most people do. If I was doing my own work, I would be reading through and marking up all the sections that need to be fixed, and that I need to work on, and that need whatever. Especially if it's a structural thing, going through to see, consistency, what's happening, that sort of thing. But with this, I don't have that. I don't have an outline. I don't have access to the person to be able to ask them, hey, what were you thinking by this? What did you mean by this paragraph? So I have to do guesswork, and also I need to implement some things. And I'm finding out as I'm going through this that there's this streak through the story that really hits me and is giving me feelings, but not good feelings. I'm kind of angry, which is funny, because it's now I'm also theoretically working out issues with my issues I've had, which is funny. Yeah, not funny, but it's interesting to like go through perspectives that are being brought up in the story. But I can now twist it, which also means I've gone through, and it's mostly because it has a very male perspective, having been written by a male. It needs to have more, and there are female characters in there that would be way more interesting if they were just given that chance. So I'm taking it to be my chance to give them that chance to actually have the piece in the story that they need to have, and be the person they need to be in that story, as well as some of the one of the other supporting characters needs to have a bigger and more defined role as well, and could also be, I almost think you could combine two characters, and that might mean that this is going to be another massive undertaking, which means I may have to change gears. And I think I need to make that decision as I'm talking this out on camera. Yeah, this is my process. This is what's been going on in my head, which explains a lot, really. But there's so much. Oh, and yeah, there's just, yeah. So I have to go through the rest of the story. I think by the time I hit January 20th, I think this weekend I might take another story to see if I should be trying that story instead, because it may need less work. Yep, because there's just some things I have to pull out of there that are pull out and change. Anyway, there's some things about the story that need to be changed, and I think they might be some significant things. I may be looking at another massive structural change as I go through the story, and things are hitting me that need to be changed, and I need to do research in order to give it the kind of change that would make sense. Yeah. What else? I'm also going to be working on comics again. And when I'm working on comics, I also have to get through those boxes. And there's a bunch more over here as well. And as I'm going through those, it's going to be kind of like a takedown. I think that's what they're called. I think they're called takedowns. Sort of. Only with comics. Anyway, so I will, that's what I'm also going to be doing is that, and I'll have a different, I want to have a different kind of lead in for that. So, you'll know what I'm doing with comics, because I want to have a completely different intro and everything, so that it's very, very obvious that I'm going to be working with comics. So if you aren't interested in those videos, then you can pass by them. I may also be doing some other books, because I consider comics books. So, and I mean, like we call them floppies in the industry. Not that I'm in the industry. Yeah, sure, whatever. But yeah, the little tiny floppies, and then there's like the graphic novels. I have graphic novels. I'll probably be going through that later, but I really, really, really need to go through my comics like badly and categorize them, and also weed through them, because I need to have the space that I just made. So everything that's not on the shelf has to go, but there's boxes that could also be moved out and changed. So there's that. A lot of organizing, a lot of writing, a lot of reading. Okay, and so the other thing I'll be doing is on the weekends, I will be going through these two books and just sort of doing, like, this one is kind of like a lesson book, and it's talking about how to do copywriting, and I'm basically going over this in order to learn how to copyright, in order to make better blurbs for the backs of books, because some of mine are lackluster and need fixing. And ads for authors, because I mean, yeah, it's who hate math. Not that I hate math, I just, if I can do it without having to think about the nuts and bolts of like going through all the math, because you can get really granular and start thinking about the numbers calculating and all that stuff, and it is really, 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 really brutal. So I would rather not have to deal with that, in which case that book sounded perfect. And when I was listening to it on a podcast, it was actually sounded really interesting. So I got it, and going to be reading that over. Once I'm done these, then I'll probably be going on to some other books, like some more craft books, because I have a bunch of craft books and I need to go through them all and just sit down and actually read them. I mean, and that's just in addition to me just doing my normal read through of books as I go through the year. So there's that as well. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I should have more, and now I just feel like I'm forcing the issue because I need to do a really long video, but I guess I don't. I mean, I like the idea of having like a really long tail, but I just don't, not for this specific video. And I guess that's all I really had to say. for now. I think I had more to say in the first part of this. Okay, well, anyway, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe.